Welcome to the Serial Closing Argument Project. So I'm going to talk you through the packet. I'm going to talk to you about how to use the PowerPoint, and then you're going to go actually use the PowerPoint to create your argument for this final summative. So just hang tight. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet, just like me, right? So you are going to assume the role of an attorney. So either you're going to be for the defense, meaning for Adnan, or you're going to be for the prosecution, meaning the state of Maryland. Your audience is the jury, and you are going to create a closing statement that says either he is guilty or not guilty. So you have to pick a side. There are two parts. There is a written part that the PowerPoint is going to be helping you through. So this is going to be your script eventually that you will read from to create part 2, and that's the Seesaw app to create a podcast, for lack of a better term. You're recording your voice. You do not need to record your face, just your voice. Or you could choose to do it live. Now, if you would like to do this optional part right here, come talk to Mr. Shaman or Mrs. Benton to get our approval. It will be a little bit of extra work because you guys will be working together in terms of the opposing side. So one of you will be for Adnan's guilt, the other will be for Adnan's not guilty plea, and you're going to be anticipating each other's arguments. So a little bit of extra work, and yes, you will have to do it live. So that is page 1. Page 2 is the organizer, and that is going to be the PowerPoint that's going to help you put this together. So this PowerPoint that I'll show you here in a little bit is going to help you get all this together. The PowerPoint can be found on Schoology, so you'll be going to that here in a bit. But there are 6 pages, 6 paragraphs to this essay. So every page is a paragraph. You have to do this. It is your rough draft. You have to get every single page approved before you can get on the computer. If you are currently failing because of the reading challenge, you have to do well on these final 2 assignments. The actual argument and then the presentation. So please, please, please stay focused. Come to class, ask for help, read the directions, and you should be just fine. So what is the final going to look like when it's all said and done? This is it. 2 pages at a 12-point font. You are going to type up all the stuff that you write in your organizer and then print it. I will be sharing with you on Schoology a Google Doc that you're going to be typing into. So please know that you're not going to just jump into Google Docs on your computer and just start typing. I do have a template that you're going to be working from. So that's the finished product. Here is the presentation checklist, so how you will be graded. We will be talking about how you deliver this. So we're going to be using this as our criteria. So read through it. We're going to talk more about it later. Even if you're recording your voice, we don't want to hear monotone and all boring and Adnan is guilty and here's why. We want to hear passion and we want to hear enthusiasm and confidence and life in your voice. So we're going to talk about how to do that. So if you want a good grade on this, and if you need a good grade on this, you're going to do some practice. You can read from your script. If you perform this live, we're going to ask maybe a little bit more from you because you will be looking at your audience, so eye contact is going to matter, gestures are going to matter, but we'll talk to everyone individually when we get close to this part. The rubric, how you will get graded. This final project, everything has to be done by June 5th. So your script will be due probably at the end of next week, maybe. And then the actual Seesaw podcast and the performances, Seesaw will be due by June 5th, and the performances will probably start around that time as well. Here's how you will get graded. So basic is a 2, what you need to do to get basic, competent a 3, and then excellent will be really good work. And then, like I said, I showed you the assignment. You will be pulling off the rubric, it's the very last page of your packet, and turning it in with your printed argument. So let's take you through the PowerPoint. I'm not going to show it to you from presentation mode because this is easier to see here on the screen. But shout out to Mr. Shaman for doing such a great job on this beautiful PowerPoint. Your job is to read every single slide, every single page of your organizer. So go ahead and go back to the organizer. Has to be approved. I can't stress this enough. If you have to do well on this assignment to pass this class, you want as much feedback from us as possible. So this is your rough draft. You will look at every slide. You will read every slide. You will read your graphic organizer as well. Some basic vocab. If you don't understand anything here, let us know, but this is the language that you will see in the model, and this is the language that will probably show up in your own argument. When you're done with this video, go to the PowerPoint in Schoology and watch this little Law and Order example of a closing argument. It starts at about 8:24. It's about how to deliver a closing argument, not so much what to deliver, because the content it's drama. It's to be exciting. It's usually not this exciting, I would imagine, closing arguments. So, but you'll see the prosecution first, and then you'll see the defense. The defense, I think, always gets the last word. So it's a few minutes long. Go watch it, get a feel for what you're working towards. Okay, so let's talk about each part. So I'm just going to take you through each part. Again, I'm going to be going too fast for you to stop along the way. So watch the video and then go back to the actual PowerPoint and start working through your graphic organizer. Mr. Shaman has done a really nice job of giving you a sample of the argument, the parts it should have, and then you need to read the different things he's telling you to do. So he addresses in the beginning the people in the courtroom. The opposing counsel is the other side. So if you're the prosecution, it's the defense. If you're the defense, it's the prosecution. Your Honor is the judge. It's explaining what the crime is, who the victim was, who the person that's being accused, and it's giving the claim right here. He's either guilty or not guilty. So Adnan's name is going to go here. You're going to say very clearly guilty or not guilty. Then for the evidence, you're going to have 3 pieces of evidence. So before you even start this assignment, you should already have your evidence figured out. So if you don't have evidence figured out, stop what you're doing right now, get your 3 pieces of evidence, get your counter argument, and then come back. Once you have your evidence, each piece of evidence is set up the exact same way. So you have a transition word of some kind here. You establish the ethos, the credibility. So who is the person and why do we care who they are? Who are they? So it would be Jay, it would be one of the detectives, it would be Nisha or Asia. So who is it? Then you're going to give the evidence right here, and then you're going to explain the evidence. So please read what Mr. Shaman has not only in the box, but in the red. Read, 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 and then model it. You try. So try it and then get approved. Try it and then get it approved. Second piece of evidence, same thing. Transitions, ethos, evidence, explain. You're free to model the language that's here. So you can also use the language that's here and then just use it and then just put the language of Adnan's case into each piece of evidence. Here's the third piece of evidence, same thing. Transition, ethos of the person giving the evidence, give the evidence and explain it. The counter argument is the hardest part of the whole thing. So the counter argument is acknowledging what the other side is probably going to say against you and then saying why it's wrong. So here the other side is the defense. So the people who are saying their client is not guilty. Then they're going to give the piece of evidence. So for example, so they're going to give the evidence that the defense has a problem with. Okay. And usually the problem that they have with that piece of evidence is evidence you're probably using or haven't used, for example. And then you're going to transition and explain why the other side is wrong. The transition can be a but, it can be however. Please read what's here in the box and in the red. Try it, get it approved, and move on. Finally, you have the conclusion. It's simply restating what you said in the introduction. So this is paragraph 6. In conclusion, who you are, so the state. So this is the prosecution. Who is involved in the murder, or who is involved in the case, the person who is the victim and the person who is the perpetrator, so the person who's being charged. And then what should they vote? How should they vote? Guilty or not guilty? And obviously it's going to be for whatever your side is. When you are done, every single page has been approved. You will then have the chance to get on a computer, open up a Google Doc through the Schoology link, and then start typing. You'll type it, you'll print it, and then it becomes your script for your Seesaw or for your live performance. So please, please, please ask lots of questions. Please, please, please be here. If you're here and doing the work and doing a good job, you should do just fine. Good luck. Have fun.